And here we go. All right, so for this last assignment, it was a critical thinking task. So what you had to do was pretend that you were going to make a garden, and your garden was going to be plotted on this graph paper that you came up with. And each little square on the graph paper represented 1 foot. Okay, so you could kind of imagine it's a much bigger garden. So 9 feet by 27 feet long. And so what you needed to do was be able to look at the back of these seed packets by clicking here for the information and read a little bit about each type of seed, how far apart they needed to be planted, what time of year they should be planted, and then if you were really thinking deeply, taking into consideration things like the sun and which plants might be the tallest and where they should be planted in relation to the sun, etc. So let's just kind of see, and it's really interesting to look at different people's work and to see why they planted something in a place where maybe somebody else hadn't thought of, and to hear them, kind of talk about it and talk about their reasoning. All right, and that's totally fine, Emma. I got your message. Sounds good. Okay. So a couple of extensions too that you could just think about. Extension means taking your thinking further. So potentially when you might harvest these different plants, and then also thinking about the sun and what that has to do with the plant positioning, and then possible natural enemies to the different types of plants that we have seeds for. And how you might protect them against those different natural enemies. Okay, so I promised Victoria that she would be able to go first because she has to leave a little early today. So Victoria did scan hers in and email it to me, so she has it on a piece of paper. So all of you can see her picture on the screen. So go ahead and hold it up to your camera, Victoria, and tell us what we're looking at.
All right. Let me get in a little bit of a darker space.
Yeah, because the sunlight will cast a shadow. So yeah, next time, just if you can, take a picture of it and email it to me ahead of time, and then.
Yeah, it's not working. She can't find it.
Oh, sure.
In docs.
Yeah, it's not doing it.
Twice last night. Oh, I'm sorry. I sent it twice last night, Jennifer.
Oh, okay. Well, we were just looking in my email and I didn't see it, so it's
You
okay.
know what? I shared it in docs and emailed it that way.
Oh. Okay. Well, if she holds it up close to her camera on the computer, we'll still be able to see it.
Okay.
So it's fine. Okay, so yep, hold it up a little closer. We're going to not be able to see your pretty face anymore, but we can see what you did and just kind of tell us why you planted things where you did.
Well, I did the watermelon here, so then the sun gets to it more easily because the watermelons grow out far, and we needed it to see the spacing in them and how much we needed. And so right here we needed 8 seeds. We decided to put 8 seeds, a half inches deep. And then for radishes, we decided to put them second because they don't grow that long or anything. They're really small and they don't need that much room though. So we decided 4 seeds, 1/4 inches and deep. And then for cherry tomatoes, we did 6 seeds and 1/4 inches deep, and they're kind of far away because they grow kind of tall. And then corn, sweet corn, we decided 3 seeds and 1.5 inches deep. And they're way far in the back, so like if we put them in the front, they'd cover all the other plants and they wouldn't grow, so we decided to do the corn in the back since it grows the tallest. And then what we did was we times 8 times 8 for like, oh wait, I forgot something. So these little X's, it's an optional choice, but they're optional flowers. Because when you put the flowers by some of your garden plants, they pollinate it. Like bees pollinate your other stuff too. And then up here we got our answer, and we did, there's 4, so there's 8 watermelons, so 8 times 8, I did that, equals 64, 14 times 4, 56, 10 times 6 equals 60, and 14 times 3 equals 40. And then right here I did watermelon seeds, radish seeds, and cherry tomato seeds, and sweet corn seeds. That's mine.
I love it. And really what I was listening for was your reasoning of why you put things where you did. And you did a very nice job of realizing that corn grows so tall that if you put it in front of everything else, it's going to block the sunlight. So putting it in the back of your garden to where it doesn't get that direct, sun and soak it all up is a good idea. And then that was really smart too, that watermelons kind of grow wide. They don't really grow as tall, so putting them in front is fine. Radishes are pretty small, so that was fine. And yeah, you did a great job. Tomatoes grow a little taller, so putting them close to the corn was fine as well.
Awesome. And so like for the sequence, the first plant was cherry tomatoes because it takes like 70 days for them to grow. Nice. And then second plant corn 10 days later because it takes 60 to 90 days to grow. And then third plant watermelon 10 days later, 60 through 65 days that to do it. And then fourth plant radishes 20 days later because 20 through 30 days. And then they will harvest at the same time.
I love it. See? And she took it a step further. She didn't have to, but she determined the potential harvest schedule. So if you plant things within a couple weeks of each other, you have a better chance of them all coming in at the same time instead of just putting all seeds in the ground on the same day. That was really good, Victoria. Good job.
Thank you.
Yay!
Bye.
Bye. All right, Emma, it's your turn. We're looking at yours. So I'm going to kind of scroll down. There we go. So that's a nice picture of Emma's. So go ahead and turn on your microphone and let us know what you did.
Okay. So my grandma was there, so she kind of told us what she would do. And based off that, we did it. We still did it. Like she said, okay, so don't put it right next to the edge, because then, like the watermelon needs 6 inches before you put it in that row, and then it needs another 6 inches before you can put something else in.
Oh. Okay.
And so we spaced it like that, like she said. But so you can put 4 watermelon seeds in a foot, and each can go half an inch deep in. The tomato seeds have to be 3 inches apart, or 3 feet apart, sorry. And you can put 6 in each foot, and each needs to be a quarter of an inch deep. The radishes need, you can put 12 in each foot. And then they're 1.5 inches deep. And the corn go 1/4 of an inch deep, and you can put 2 in each foot.
Very nice, Emma. And as I would expect from a sixth grader, she thought about this a little bit deeper, and she was thinking about how many seeds she would be able to use because, you only have a garden, and your outline here, that's 9 feet by 27 feet. So you can't throw 100 seeds down. You don't have enough room because the package told you, well, this one needs 3 feet in between each different plant, and this particular crop only needs 2 feet between each plant. So that was all very different. So you did a great job. And talk a little bit more about your reasoning about why the watermelon is kind of far away from everything else again.
Because it needs 6 inches away from other plants, or 6 feet away from other plants. So you have to go over from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Perfect, exactly. And you can see that each one of these little dots, squares, represented a foot, so 6 feet away. Beautiful job, Emma. You did a great job on this.
Thank you.
And you didn't talk about it, but you did put the corn on an opposite end, so it wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, good work. Okay.
And then you can see the math up there.
Yeah. Yep. All right, I'll scroll down, and next we have Tristan. So we're all going to do a little neck stretch and turn our heads to the left so that we are able to see Tristan's. And whenever you're ready, you could go ahead and explain to us what you did, Tristan.
Okay, sorry about the flip. That just happened because my scanner does that, sorry.
No worries. We're enjoying the
Okay.
stretch.
But this is just my map, but I have a little lecture written down, so
Sure.
I'll just read that. So as you can see on the map, in the very back, I have the tomatoes, and in the very front, I have the radish seeds, because they're the shortest plants, and while the sun is coming around, it will reach both of those sides. And then the corn and the watermelon are taller, so they're in the middle. They'll still get enough sunlight because they're taller.
Mm-hmm.
And so I solved my problems by planting seeds in the right place according to the sun. And I also thought about the harvesting from looking at the back of the seeds. So June 1st is when I would plant the seeds, all of them actually, and I would harvest the radishes on June 30th, and the rest I would harvest on August 17th. And I also thought about how many seeds I'd need. I'd need 10 tomato seeds, 108 watermelon seeds, 30 corn seeds, and 432 radish seeds. And the reason for this is because there are a lot of plants that don't need that much spacing, like the radish, for example. They need very little spacing. They only need ½ an inch of spacing. So I'm growing a lot of radishes.
Gotcha.
And then, yeah.
And so, yeah, looking at this, it looks like the tomato plants are kind of spaced out a little bit more, and the corn plants are spaced out, so you left a foot in between each one of those. Good. And talk a little bit more again about why you put the corn and the tomatoes where you did.
So I put all the plants where they did because the tomatoes and the radishes are on the outside because they're a little bit shorter than the watermelon and the corn, I think. And this way the sun, on the day, it would come around to both sides. So in the morning, it's going onto the radishes, and then in the evening when the sun is going down, it's on the tomatoes. And then also all along, it's also getting a lot of light on the corn and the watermelons because they're in the middle.
Okay, so the top of your graph here where you see the dark purple that must be east, actually, because that's where the sun would rise. And then,
Yes.
okay. All right, very good. And actually, you did a really nice job on this too, Tristan. One student actually did put a little compass on their map to show north, south, east, and west, probably for that very reason, to talk about the sun and the positioning of the plants and what time of day they would get the most sunlight. So good work.
That's a good idea, actually, putting a compass on there.
Yeah, to think about that. Exactly. So just little things that, that's part of critical thinking. Sharing with others your reasoning of why you did what you did, and then learning something new about why other kids are thinking maybe in a different way.
Yeah, this was a really interesting project, I think.
Yeah, it was. It was cool. I don't think, oh yes, okay, Sierra and Brianna, are you there with us?
Yeah.
Okay. Brianna, are you here? Would you like to tell us a little bit about your graph that we're looking at?
I'm not there yet. She's trying to get onto.
Can you guys just share the computer? Because it'll probably have a lot of feedback if you both do separate computers. Oh, yeah, it's totally fine, Adam, but I actually have it on here as well so that, it's easy to see. Okay, we're going to come back to you, Brianna. In the future, it's sometimes, if you have somebody in the same house as you, and you're both logging into a meeting like this, it's like a ton of interference usually. So using one computer is usually a good strategy. So a little FYI there.
I'm just gonna walk over here.
Okay, so Adam, is this the same graph that you have? Okay, all right. Oh, somebody's sending me a message that they can't get in to the VC. Who is this? Who is this? Hold on just a second, Adam. Make sure your microphone's on, and let's just wait and see who this is trying to get in. Oh, that was Grace Elizabeth from earlier. Okay, well, she's here now. So, Adam, if you are ready, we are looking at your graph here on the screen. Let me make it just slightly smaller so that we can get all of it in one picture. Hold on just a second. A little smaller so that it's all on the screen. Okay, Adam, tell us what you did and why.
Alright, so I made the corn 6 inches apart and 24 inches between rows and a half inches deep. And I did that because if I put them too deep, then it'll take much longer for them to grow. And if I put them too close to the top, then they'll grow and just spread out.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, I had to space them.
Okay, so, yep, you spaced them based on what you read on the back of the packet, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Okay, and then tell us about your tomatoes, radishes, and watermelon.
Okay, so the tomatoes are 12 inches apart, 24 inches between rows, and 1/4 inches deep. And again, the same thing for too deep goes for the tomatoes too.
Awesome. All right. And so it looks like you had a lot more corn plants than you had tomato. And then let's move on to your radishes. Why did you draw straight lines for radishes?
Oh, and I'm sorry, Miss Burns, but one more thing for the tomatoes. I had to space them apart so that way they don't grow and then get all tangled up if I put them too close together.
Okay.
I did that last year.
Very nice.
Now, as for the radish, I did it 1 inch apart, 12 inches between rows, and 1/4 inches deep.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now, for the watermelon, I made it 6 inches apart, 48 inches between hills, and 1.5 inches deep.
All right. And so tell us a little bit about your placement. Why did you put the corn and tomato kind of close together and the radishes close together?
Why I put them together? Well, one reason would be they could get more water in one sprinkle.
Okay.
And the corn is in the back also, so it doesn't shade out the rest of the plants.
Very good. That's one thing I was definitely seeing if you would notice. You're putting the corn in the back. So which direction is that? Can you tell us like where the north is, south is, east and west?
Yeah. Okay, hold on a little bit.
And it's just a guess, like where would you plant the corn? Would you plant it in the south of your garden or on the east side of your garden or the west side?
Well, I put the tomato on the east side.
Okay.
I put the tomato on the east side so that way it can get some sunlight.
Okay. So
But it's also under a tree, so it doesn't get that much sunlight.
Okay, well, the tomatoes then are going to get the first morning sun, and then we would expect the corn to get the late afternoon and evening sun. And radishes and watermelons don't look like they would be covered by either, so that would be good too. So, all right, Adam. Well, good thinking.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to scroll on down to Bailey's, and then we can go back to Brianna at the end. Make sure. Okay, Bailey has her microphone on. Bailey, there we go. That's about as good as I can get it. Go ahead and tell us what you did as soon as you're ready.
I planted east to west because the tomatoes and the radish and the watermelon planted to the side, it won't create a shadow on them. So everything will get full sunlight. And
oh, you cut out just a little bit.
okay. So I have 6 corn seeds per foot, 1 plant every 9 inches. Watermelon, 6 seeds per foot, 3 plants per group or row. Tomatoes, 6 seeds per foot, 1 plant every foot. Radishes, 24 seeds per 12 plants every foot. And some of the enemies are earworms, other insects, squirrels, rabbits, raccoons, birds. The solutions to these are scarecrows, planting squash under corn and other plants, fence, ladybugs, chickens, and ducks, playing a radio, predator monitor light.
Very good. I love how you took it a step further and talked about the extension pieces where talking about the natural predators to these different plants that we're doing. And then you also really paid attention to how many plants and how many squares, or I shouldn't say squares, how many feet you would be able to use in your garden. So 108 seeds, 48 plants, etc. And then just probably more of an estimate about how much it would actually produce, but a pretty good guess. So good job, Bailey, and good job explaining why you would put the corn where you did. It looks like it would yeah, it would not shade anything really because yeah, the sun would rise at like if looking at your map here, the sun would rise at the top, and so everything would get the morning sun, and these little watermelons would not block the sunlight from the tomatoes. So perfect. All right. Well, good work, Bailey.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Brianna, turn on your microphone, please. Oh, let's see here. Scroll back up to yours. Yours looks a little bit more computer generated, like you didn't have an actual graph paper, but that's okay. We can still kind of pretend that those bigger looking squares are little squares. And go ahead and tell us what you did. Hello, Brianna. Are you there? We hear somebody whispering. Is that you, Brianna? Okay. Well, did you guys work on this together, Sierra? Would you like to explain it?
We're doing RBC right now.
Oh, okay. No, we did not. All right. Well, Brianna is not speaking up. You just did it. Okay. Well, it didn't get to me in time to make it onto the agenda, so I'm sorry about that. But I'm going to go ahead and mute some microphones because I am getting a little bit of feedback noise. Let's see here. It looks like everybody who had emailed me their work, we had definitely had a chance to talk about their different graphs. And really, what the whole point of this was is just to see what your reasoning was and to see if you could think about where things should go and why they should go there, how many seeds you would be using, what part of the garden you would be planting certain crops, and be able to justify your thinking. That's really what this was all about. That's all right, Carolyn. And actually, you did not need to come since you usually come to Monday virtual classrooms, or I mean, not Monday virtual classrooms, Monday blended. So you actually already did this project in class on Monday. So you're good. If you did not get a chance to present today, make sure that you send me your project. And unfortunately, you know, you just weren't able to present, but that's life. Anyway, we will not meet next Wednesday because it is fall break, but I will see you the following Wednesday, okay? All right, let me unmute you so that we can all say goodbye and good job. Bye.
Bye, Miss Brand. Bye.
Bye, Miss Jones.
Have a good fall break.
You too. You guys did a great job on this. Bye.
Bye, Miss Brand. Have a good fall break.
Bye.
Have a nice fall break.
Bye.
Okay, Ciara, I'll wait for you. Everybody else can go. What's your question?
The only reason I knew was because the dog was
So I guess everybody except for Ciara can leave. I'm waiting for her question. We can hear you, Ciara, so you could just say it instead of typing it.
Oh, okay. So yesterday there was a bomb threat at the college across from the street,
Ooh, I'm sorry.
and so my mom made us go to do errands with her.
Okay.
So the question is, if because now we're behind on lessons. If we're behind on lessons by the time the second semester starts, will we get 0 on all the ones that we didn't do by then?
No. You have a couple days kind of built in to try to catch up a little bit too, like Friday, for instance. Um, it's technically a teacher work day, so you don't have any lessons assigned to you on Friday, so you can spend a little time then catching up. Um, and then, just here and there as you can. What's going to happen at second semester is whatever you've completed, we're going to close out the course, and then you'll start your second half of the course at second semester.
Okay, so it's still okay if I'm not done by Friday. I can just finish it on Friday.
Yes, you can try to catch up if you can, and
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I was working on school until 4 o'clock yesterday.
oh, I'm sorry. Well, it's okay. Don't stress too much. Just try to do what you can, and just know that you're not going to have anything new assigned to you on Friday, for instance. So,
Okay, thank you.
no problem. Have a good day. All right, bye.
Bye.